So welcome back to Clueless Classics. Today I've driven the car all the way to North Yorkshire to the specialists here at Selby TVR. Steve and the team know everything that you need to about these cars. So we're going to get this one on the ramp and see what he finds.
My name's Steve Wallinger. I run Selby TVR Sports and Classics. We've been going now for about 15 years. My background started off life at Harrogate Horses Carriages, what was a main dealer in Harrogate. I went there straight from school as an apprentice at the age of 16 back in 1996 and been around them ever since, really. As you can see, we specialise with TVRs. We do other bits of classic work as well, which keeps us busy, and keeps us entertained.
First things first, it's time to get the car in the air.
Right, so first thing we're going to do, quick look at the tyres. So there's a little chunk out there, but it's nothing major. No perishing on the outer sidewall. Valve looks good as well. Quick pull, so there is a little bit of free play in there. I suspect that may be either the top ball joint or the wishbone bush, but we shall have a look in a second. So we've got some Pro Check shockers on there. They're good. So a few little upgrades going on in there. You've got some upgrade brake hoses, which are nice. They are quite prone, the original ones, for perishing inside and causing the brake to bind. So that's a nice little upgrade that you've got there. So from what I can see, the outriggers look original. They're a little bit crusty in there, but we'll have a good poke about and see what's going on. We'll get the wheels off shortly and have a good look in there. So the chassis on the TVR is what they call a double backbone chassis. So you've got the backbone down the middle, which normally fares pretty well, to be fair, because the Rover V8's not uncommon to leak oil a little bit. So
this one does.
A bit of oil does protect the centre of the chassis generally. There are a couple of weak spots on there, which I can point out to you later. But yeah, the outriggers are the bits that tend to get the weather. As you can see, particularly sort of behind the wheel, you get a lot of build-up of road muck and dirt down there, and that tends to trap the moisture in and rot through the outriggers, unfortunately. So yeah, you do have a different brand of tyre on the back as well, which is not an issue legally, but I think with something like this, with this sort of power, I think it's worth potentially looking for a new set of tyres, definitely, particularly with the age on them. Another thing worth noting as well on the Chimaera, it's nice to see that it's got a transparent rear number plate, because the earlier cars were backlit. So from the MOT point of view, the lights shine through the number plate. The later cars were on a bit of an angle with the number plate lamps in front. You quite often find now cars that have been through the non-specialist network have got solid plates on.
Right.
Whether it gets picked up or not with the MOT test is another thing, but yeah, legally it should have a transparent plate, which this has.
I'm guessing this is an original dealer plate because there's lots of paperwork carriages on.
Absolutely, yep. No, carriages were a well-known dealer back in the day.
Then it was time to get the wheels off the car so we can get a closer look at what's going on.
That's where you want to be looking for the outriggers. That's sort of the weak spot, as I said. It's also worth getting a bore scope in, which we'll do later, just to have a look a little bit further on, because generally when you see a hole underneath, there's a much bigger one on top. So yeah, it's something you definitely need to be paying attention to. These definitely look original to these outriggers. So yeah, like you say, unfortunately, at some point, it's going to need some. As I say, sort of looking in here, you ProTech adjustable shocks, decent shocks, these really. You've got adjustable ride height and adjustable bump with the ProTechs, which is nice. Some interesting heat shielding, DIY heat shielding over the rear bushes, which, wouldn't do any harm, I suppose, but we'll have a good look in there as well. Someone's also tried to protect the steering UJs as well. Again, they're sort of prone for just wearing and going tight. Your steering will go to like a 50p piece almost, so you'll have a slack spot, tight spot, slack spot when they start to fail. Again, not too uncommon on the Chimaeras. And so obviously sort of just looking on the back end there, ProTechs on the back as well, and also the upgrade braided hoses. Perfect, all looking good.
So far so good, I think. But now came the real test. It's time to get the car in the air and see what's going on underneath.
My first thoughts looking underneath it, I'd be looking for potential for a coolant leak because the radiator's just under here. So you quite often find that if there is a coolant leak on the rad, it would work its way through the fiberglass and you'd see a few drips, but that's looking nice and dry, which is always a bonus. One thing these used to have when they were brand new, they had a little lip spoiler, which was screwed into those holes. Now, they used to stay on for maybe 1,000 miles before a speed bump would take them
Really?
off. So, yeah,
Brilliant.
back in the early days, every service we were supplying and fitting a new underspoiler. Not so much now because, well, yeah, because they just don't last, to be fair. I personally could never feel the difference if they were fitted or not. A lot of people said they could, but obviously better drivers than I am. Yeah, I'm not good enough really to notice the difference with them. So yeah, I would say probably 99% of cars now don't have the underspoilers on. So not really surprised that that's not there. Just sort of looking here, the wishbones are slightly out of shape there. I don't know how that could have gone on, but they are quite thin as well. So it could be worthwhile in a not too distant future, maybe a set of wishbones and some bushes. Obviously, there's been a few modifications. The oil feed pipe there, which would not normally be there on a standard car. This side of the exhaust does look very wet as well, doesn't it? So again, maybe a little bit from the rocker cover. I suspect that's only a small proportion of it. So favourite sort of this end, you've got the sump gasket. There's also that little oil light switch there, which has been slightly modified as well, and that's where the pressure gauge would normally be. So that has been modified, but it is a bit wet around there, so it's maybe worth a good look around there. Possibly a sump gasket as well. Not too uncommon for leaking. So there's various sort of different ways of doing it. You can reseal them, cork gaskets. There's also an upgraded gasket as well available, so a few different options with that. It is a little bit damp at the back, which potentially could be a rear main oil seal, which is a gearbox out job to do, unfortunately.
Brilliant.
But I think the way we'd do this, we'd have to clean all this off because there is a lot of oil about, run the car up and then see where it's coming from and go from there, really.
Okay. So it's much cheaper just to just ignore it and keep putting oil in?
Well, cheaper in the short term.
Okay.
This has got some upgraded rose jointed anti-roll bar drop links. So, yep, someone has spent some money on it.
Someone's loved this car in the past.
Absolutely.
Oh, that's good to see.
So, yeah, but no, I mean, both the anti-roll bar mounts are nicely attached. As I say, they're nice and secure as well, which is always a bonus. Other things we'd be looking at on the back of the Chimaera as well, the CV boots. They're quite prone for perishing and cracking, which normally comes to light when it's MOT time, because it is an MOT fail if they're cracked and not preventing the ingress of dirt. As you're saying that, there is quite a bit of grease around there. I don't know if you can see up there, which does look CV bootish. So it could be that it's potentially cracked in a different position. What I'll have to do is just take it out of gear and then spin the wheels just to see if there is a split somewhere. But there is some grease there, which has certainly come from somewhere. It looks like CV grease to me.
This list's not getting any smaller, is it?
Well, I have seen worse.
Oh, well, that's good.
So another thing worth looking at on the back of the Chimaera is the centre diff bush as well. So they have a little diff, well, quite a big diff bush right at the top up there. Again, they're prone for cracking, and how that would reveal itself is you'd hear quite a heavy clunk when you take up drive, particularly with something with the power that this has got as well. So you will notice it taking up drive, and I think it's more likely to, if it's not gone, probably imminent. Yeah, so it's, but there's a few options. I personally would go for a poly upgrade with that. Like, right. Yeah, so that's the way I would go with that. Other things definitely worth looking at: fuel hoses, because they're all at an age now where they're all rubber, so they are all starting to perish. But looking at this, the fuel filter looks fairly recent. Likewise, there's a fuel pump. As you said, it's had some wiring modifications. So I would definitely be looking at those, but I'm guessing they've probably put some new hoses on at the same time because they're looking pretty good. There's a couple in the engine bay which are worth looking at as well.
So this is the bit I'm not looking forward to, Steve.
Well, it's worth knowing, isn't it? Either way, because like you say, it is safety related. So
what have we got here? We've got a...
So not always easiest to see. So you're just looking down the top of the outrigger, and we're looking for any holes really. I mean, they are a little bit crusty, but nothing too bad so far. So it's a bit of road muck and dirt in there, but yeah, we're looking, as I say, for any visible holes, the stuff that you can't see from underneath. the only real way is to get a camera along top, which so far looks pretty good. Perfect, yep, so no. And it's normally the near side, to be fair, that tends to go first because it's the curb side and you get all the muck up from the road and that side. So yeah, so if that side's okay. Because of that, there's a little bit of build-up of muck down there, so I might just get a screwdriver and have a more of a scrape down there first, just to clear a path for the camera. But again, yeah, nothing too serious at all. So no, looking good. One of the hinge bolts has snapped under the bonnet, so you've got a little bit of free play on there. So we'll take the bonnet off and drill those out and re-tap that. We'll secure that for you. In fact, the bottom bolt is actually missing. It's not snapped, it is actually missing. So that is a nice easy fix. Under here, there's a little bit of fraying to the auxiliary belt. So for what they are, we'll definitely put one of those on. There's also the breather pipe missing to the flame trap, which, yeah, we want to sort or pop a little filter onto there. The wiring on top, functional but not pretty.
That is really polite.
Yeah, well, we try to be, definitely. So yeah, we'll definitely do something with that. Always worth looking at fuel pipes under the bonnet of the Chimaera. I think we mentioned them before at the back end, but they have the feed and the return pipe just under the bonnet. Again, particularly because of the heat and age and change in ethanol content, they are quite prone for perishing. Has been a few cars lost due to them failing, unfortunately.
Oh, really?
Yep, so it's something that we pay close attention to whenever we get the car in and open the bonnet. Definitely want to be looking at those. So yeah, again, just sort of looking at there, obviously the manifolds have been off at some point because it's got upgrade manifold bolts on. Something I'd probably do as well, the spark plug leads are straight on top, straight onto the plugs. So originally they had some heat extenders on there, made by Buru. They stopped making them, unfortunately, but they lift the plug leads a bit further out from the manifolds and stop them getting damaged by the heat. So we mentioned about the oil leaks as well at the top end. This has got the later type rubber gasket on the rocker covers, so it'd be worth just giving those a little nip up. It's something we would generally do as part of the service as well, because with them being rubber, they do settle a bit. So for the sake of just nipping those up, which bizarrely was part of TVR's service schedule on both the 6 and the 12k service, so we'll have a look at those as well. And 2-minute job just to nip those up.
We'd created a big list of what needs doing on the Turbo TVR. Now it's just time to put the wheels back on, check the tyre pressures, close the bonnet and let Steve take the car out for a spin.
Wow, oh wow. yeah, wow, yeah, you know it's there, that is for sure, wow. Yes, you could have a lot of fun with this, absolutely. Yeah, you do need to give them some respect, wow. And the speedos just come to life as well, yeah. Wow, it never gets old, does it? Not at all. Wow, yep.
So, I know you're a really busy guy. You are the guy to go to for TVR in the north.
Well, yeah, it does keep us busy, I have to say.
If people do have a TVR or a classic car, because you do all the classics as well.
We do, yeah, absolutely.
If they want to get in touch with you,
yep.
How do they do that?
Phone, email, you know, we're always available. Yeah, right. WhatsApp. It's amazing how people can get in touch now. But
definitely.
Yeah. All the above, yeah, feel free to get in touch.
Super. I'm going to stop asking you questions now because you're going into a national speed limit.
Well, that's it.
And I want to see the big smile on your face.
With a little roundabout, absolutely.
So I'm going to leave you to it. Is that all right?
Thank you, yeah.
Steve, thank you so much for looking after me today. It's been great.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure.
And I'm glad the car's in safe hands.
Absolutely. Thank you.
So we've got the car back to the unit and I'm kind of relieved. I thought it was going to be a lot worse than it was. We've still got lots of work to do. We've still got jobs that need ticking off the list, but we're starting with a good car, and I'm really looking forward to getting it back up to scratch so we can enjoy it in the summer. So thank you for watching. Unfortunately, the next bit for me is getting a bill from Steve and seeing how much it's going to cost to get this car where it needs to be, but it's not as bad as first thought, so that's a big relief. If you've enjoyed today's video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and like it. Also subscribe it and share it, and follow the journey here with this TVR. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.
Yeah, no, that is impressive, isn't it? That is impressive.